press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hi everyone. Hope all of you have successfully attended the last split, that is split 6 test. So of course today we are going to discuss the KCET split 6 part questions, and you know that in KCET split 6 portion, the two particularly in botany, so you are having two chapters, that is one chapter from the first year, that is photosynthesis in higher plants. That's from plant physiology chapter. And the second chapter was from the second year unit biotechnology, that is biotechnology and its applications. Right. So attended some questions from the botany portion from the chapter photosynthesis and biotechnology. I think we were having the equal number of questions from both the chapters, 15 questions from photosynthesis and 15 questions from the chapter biotechnology and its applications. So let us begin with the first question. Right. So first 15 questions will be from the chapter photosynthesis. The first question goes like this: which of the following is not a product of light reaction of photosynthesis? Which of the following is not a product of light reaction in photosynthesis or of photosynthesis? The options given are: the first option is like ATP, second is oxygen, third is NADH, and fourth is NADPH. Well, you know that photosynthesis, it's a vital process in the plants wherein it occurs in two stages mainly, that is light reaction and the second phase is called dark reaction. Photosynthesis being it's an anabolic process where the simple inorganic substances such as the carbon dioxide and water, which are utilized in the presence of sunlight to produce a complex organic substance that is nothing but the glucose. ಸೊ ಈ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಡೈಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ವಾಟರ್ ನ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಸೆಸಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಥವಾ ಕನ್ವರ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾರ್ಬೋಹೈಡ್ರೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಫಾರ್ ಫೋಟೋಸಿಂಥಸಿಸ್ is obtained from light reaction. That means the radiant energy from the sun will be converted into a chemical form of energy, that is nothing but the ATP, radiant energy is converted into chemical energy. So chemical energy here, it's mainly ATP, and of course along with this ATP there is one more reducing form of energy which is produced, that is NADPH2. So these are the two forms of energy which are required for fixing the atmospheric carbon dioxide, reacting with the water, finally converting it into glucose. Well, the light reaction, again it's not a again simple process or single process. There are few events which are actually requiring this light energy. So what are those events which depend on light dependent reactions? You just can recall, this is also called as thylakoid reaction, because as the reactions require the trapping of the sunlight, which is enabled by the pigments which are present in the thylakoid membrane. And it is also called as Hill's reaction. So based on the scientists who actually deduce these particular reactions in the photosynthesis, they are also called as Hill's reaction. Okay, what are those light dependent reactions here? say light dependent reactions such as photo excitation of chlorophyll, photo excitation of chlorophyll, and next the light dependent reaction is photolysis of water, then photophosphorylation, and then photolysis of photo reduction. Okay, so the different events in light reaction, that is photo excitation of chlorophyll and photolysis of water, photophosphorylation, photo reduction. In all these events, you can see the photo, which is common, nothing but all these reactions are depending on the sunlight. So photo excitation of chlorophyll, the first and foremost event in the light reaction itself is photo excitation of chlorophyll, that we have discussed, like when the incident light which falls on the chlorophyll pigment, the atomic structure wherein the electrons from the ground state by this high energy they are excited to outermost orbital. So this excited electron passes through series of electron carrier, so wherein there will be photophosphorylation, nothing but the synthesis of ATP here. Right. So that's one of the product I can say. So which is the product of light reaction, photophosphorylation. ATP is produced. And you know that it's a chemiosmotic process wherein the ATP is produced due to the proton gradient in the lumen as well as stroma of the chloroplast. Okay, photolysis of water. So water being important, the raw material in the photosynthesis. So it's going to be split. The water molecule is broken down and it is going to be split, where water is broken down in the presence of light to form, to release two protons and half O2, that is atomic oxygen will be released. So of course by splitting of two water molecules, oxygen molecule will be released. So that is also one of the byproduct what we can say, but the oxygen evolving is taking place in the light reaction. Then photo reduction. Reduction is nothing but addition of hydrogen. So to which molecule the hydrogen is going to be added. So wherein the NADP, which is a coenzyme, is going to accept the hydrogen and it is converted into reducing form of energy. That's nothing but NADPH2. So in the whole light reaction, there are three important components, that is ATP and NADH. Both are forms of energy. ATP is being a chemical form of energy which can be directly utilized, whereas NADPH2 is the reducing form of energy. And there is one more product, there's nothing but the oxygen. So in the options you can see oxygen is present, NADH is also present, NADPH is there, and ATP is there. But the question is, which of the following is not a product of light reaction? Not a product. So that means NADPH is the product, ATP is the product, and oxygen is also product. So obviously, not a product means the answer should be NADH. So this is actually not produced during the light reaction, or I can say entire photosynthesis there is no formation of NADH, reducing form of energy. Then where it is formed? So you can come across this form of energy in the respiration. So during the oxidation of the respiratory substrate, mainly glucose, so wherein the reducing form of energies are formed, that's NADH. So the important concept, NADH ಎಲ್ಲಿ produce ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, NADPH2 ಅಲ್ಲಿ. Photosynthesis and respiration, these two are the vital processes. So of course photosynthesis is specifically for plants, but respiration is in common for every living organisms. So NADH ಅನ್ನೋದು respiration ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, NADPH2 ಅನ್ನ reducing form energy photosynthesis ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, which is not produced means there's a third option, nothing but the NADH. Well, let us move on to question number 2. Phosphoenol pyruvate PEP is the primary CO2 acceptor in PEP is the primary CO2 acceptor in right. So light reaction is the phase in which the energy forms, that is ATP as well as NADPH2 are produced. So where these energies are required, this ATP and NADPH2 are used in the dark reaction. What is this dark reaction? Biosynthetic phase. This is the second phase where there is a actual synthesis of glucose. So the atmospheric carbon dioxide has to be fixed by someone. So you know that leaf is the organ which the primary organ where the photosynthesis takes place. In the leaf particularly the mesophyll cells. Again in mesophyll cells, if you ask, so there is one particular structure which is called the chloroplast. So in the chloroplast, light reaction occurs in the thylakoid membrane and the dark reaction occurs in the stromal surface or the stromal region. Right. So the fixation of atmospheric carbon dioxide, and there is a pathway, cyclic reactions which occur. So we know that the common one which is called Calvin cycle. Otherwise called C3 cycle. So whatever the carbon dioxide is diffusing into the chloroplast, it has to be accepted, it has to be retained. So who is going to retain that? So in case of some plants, there is a particular 5 carbon compound which is called ribulose diphosphate, otherwise called ribulose biphosphate. So it's a 5 carbon compound. So one carbon dioxide, that means there is one carbon, it's going to be condensed with the ribulose biphosphate. Idu 5 carbon compound, idu 1 carbon compound. So obviously ಏನು ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ, resulting product 6 carbon compound ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. Of course 6 carbon compound will be formed, but as that 6 carbon compound is unstable, immediately it is going to split into 2 molecules of 3 carbon compound, that is phosphoglyceric acid. 2 molecules of 3 carbon compound. So this is again the phosphoglyceric acid undergo further phosphorylation to form 1,3-biphosphoglyceric acid. Then it undergo reduction to form 1,3-BiPGA. Then it undergo reduction to form phosphoglyceraldehyde and glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. So there will be 12 molecules. So out of 12, 10 enter into regeneration of ribulose monophosphate, and 2 of these enter into synthesis of the glucose. So this is one particular path, in the sense most common one. So there is one more type wherein the fixation, atmospheric carbon dioxide fixation, it's in different mechanism. So as in case of some plants, monocots such as the sugar cane. So in case of sugar cane, what happens? There are 2 types of the chloroplast, that is mesophyll chloroplast and bundle sheath chloroplast. ಎರಡು ಟೈಪ್ ಕ್ಲೋರೋಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಮೊನೋಕಾಟ್ಸ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಶುಗರ್ ಕೇನ್ ಅಂತ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಮೀಸೋಫಿಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಬಂಡಲ್ ಶೀತ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 2 ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ಲೋರೋಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇದನ್ನ ಡೈಮಾರ್ಫಿಕ್ ಕ್ಲೋರೋಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂತಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಅಥವಾ ಈ ಅನಾಟಮಿನ ಕ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ಅನಾಟಮಿ ಅಂತಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಕ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ರಿಚ್. ಸೊ ಈ ಬಂಡಲ್ ಶೀತ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ಲೋರೋಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂಡ್ whatever the entire process of photosynthesis which occur is in the chloroplast. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ 2 ಟೈಪ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಮೆಕ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ ಇರಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಡೈಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್ ಫಿಕ್ಸೇಷನ್ ಅಥವಾ ಫೋಟೋಸಿಂಥಸಿಸ್ಗೆ. ಸೊ ಇಂಥ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಮೀಸೋಫಿಲ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು 3 ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಕಾಂಪೌಂಡ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಫಾಸ್ಫೋಯಿನಾಲ್ ಪೈರುವೇಟ್, ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ಅಬ್ರಿವೇಟೆಡ್ ಆಸ್ PEP, which is a 3 carbon compound. So this atmospheric carbon dioxide is accepted by phosphoenol pyruvate. ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇದನ್ನ ವೆಲ್ಕಮ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ರೈಬುಲೋಸ್ ಬೈಪಾಸ್ಪೇಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಮೆಜಾರಿಟಿ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಡೈಕಾಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ತಗೋಬಹುದು. ಅದನ್ನ C3 ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟೇಬಲ್ ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಕಾಂಪೌಂಡ್ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು 3 carbon containing compound, that is phosphoglyceric acid. Here in these plants the receptionist is of different type. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ವೆಲ್ಕಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥರು ಇಲ್ಲಿ 5 ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಕಾಂಪೌಂಡ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ 3 ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಕಾಂಪೌಂಡ್ ಇದೆ. ಯಾವ್ದದು? ಫಾಸ್ಫೋಯಿನಾಲ್ ಪೈರುವೇಟ್. ಸೊ after condensation with this phosphoenol pyruvate, carbon dioxide and PEP, it is going to be converted into oxaloacetic acid, which is a 4 carbon compound. So this 4 carbon compound then it enters into the bundle sheath. So wherein this oxaloacetic acid is again converted into a 3 carbon compound by decarboxylation, that is nothing but phosphoglyceric acid. So here there will be generation of CO2. This CO2 enters into Calvin cycle or the C3 cycle. But as the first stable carbon compound in such plants, that like I told you, sugar cane, the plants are called C4 plants. And the enzyme here is PEP carboxylase, phosphoenol pyruvate carboxylase. See, carboxylation means addition of carbon from the carbon dioxide. Decarboxylation means removal of carbon in the form of carbon dioxide. So depending on to what substrate the carbon is going to be added, the enzyme name will be given. So nomenclature ತುಂಬಾ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಎನ್ಸೈಮ್ಸ್ ಒಂದು ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೇಟ್ ಯಾವ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೇಟ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಎನ್ಸೈಮ್ ನ ನೇಮ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅಥವಾ ಯಾವ ಟೈಪ್ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ ನ ಕೆಟಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಬಹಳ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಅದನ್ನ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ಸ್ ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ಸ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಆಗಿ ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೋಬಹುದು. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ? ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಡೈಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್ ಆಡ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಅದೇನ್ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಷನ್? ಕಾರ್ಬಾಕ್ಸಿಲೇಷನ್. ಯಾರು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದಾರೆ? ಎನ್ಸೈಮ್. ಮತ್ತೆ ಏನ್ ಅನ್ಬೇಕು? ಕಾರ್ಬಾಕ್ಸಿಲೇಸ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ನೋಡಿ, ಲಿಪಿಡ್ ನ ಡೈಜೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಲೈಪೇಸ್, ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್ ಡೈಜೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಪ್ರೋಟಿಯೇಸ್. AAC ಅನ್ನೋದು ಕಾಮನ್ ಆಗಿ ಎನ್ಸೈಮ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ಆಡ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಫ್ಯೂ, ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಬಿಟ್ಟು. ಮೆಜಾರಿಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ ದಿ ಎನ್ಸೈಮ್ ನೇಮ್ ಎಂಡ್ಸ್ ವಿತ್ ದಿ AAC. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ? ಫಾಸ್ಫೋಯಿನಾಲ್ ಪೈರುವೇಟ್, ಹೆನ್ಸ್ ದಿ ಎನ್ಸೈಮ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಪೆಪ್ ಕಾರ್ಬಾಕ್ಸಿಲೇಸ್. ಸೊ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಗೆ ನಾವು ಮತ್ತೆ ವಾಪಸ್ ನೋಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ, ಫಾಸ್ಫೋಯಿನಾಲ್ ಪೈರುವೇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿ ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ CO2 acceptor in. ಹೋಪ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್, ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ C4 ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್, C2 ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್, C3 ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್, C3 ಅಂಡ್ C4 ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ ಅಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟರ್ ಯಾವ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ CO2 ಅಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟರ್ PEP ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು. ಸೊ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು C4 ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫಾಸ್ಫೋಯಿನಾಲ್ ಪೈರುವೇಟ್ ನ ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಅಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. C2 plants, nothing but the plants which exhibit photo respiration. Sometimes due to the decrease in the carbon dioxide concentration in the atmosphere, the ribulose biphosphate will be fixed with the oxygen. And the Rubisco, we know that it's a dual function. Ribulose biphosphate carboxylase and oxygenase. So in some cases where to this 5 carbon compound the oxygen is added, that's called photorespiration. Those plants can be called as C2 plants. So C3 plants explain ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. So fourth option ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು C3 and C4. So answer is very clear. C4 plants, the primary carbon dioxide acceptor is phosphoenol pyruvate and it is fixed by the enzyme PEP carboxylase. Well, let us move on to next question. The process which makes major difference between C3 and C4 plants, just I told you, C3 and C4 plants, the process which makes the major difference. So let us see what are the options there. Respiration. In both C3, C4, respiration occur. Irrespective what type of plant, respiration is a vital process in every living organism. Plant antane alla, C3, C4 antalla, elladrallu respiration ಆಗ್ಲೇಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. Calvin cycle, C3 cycle. I told you, in case of C4 plants, C3 plants, the atmospheric carbon dioxide is accepted by the 5 carbon compound, that is ribulose biphosphate, and it is converted into 6 carbon, but as it is unstable, it is split into 2 molecules of 3 carbon compound. So that's why it is called C3 cycle, otherwise Calvin cycle. So in case of C4 plants also, I told you, in mesophyll cells, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಬರೆದಿದ್ದೆ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಅಟ್ಮಾಸ್ಫಿಯರಿಕ್ ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಡೈಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಮಿಸೋಫಿಲ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫಾಸ್ಫೊಯಿನಾಲ್ ಪೈರುವೇಟ್ ಅಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ and it is converted into oxaloacetic acid. This is a 3 carbon compound. Oxaloacetic acid is the 4 carbon compound. Now this oxaloacetic acid enters into bundle sheath. So in bundle sheath, so it undergo decarboxylation. Oxaloacetic acid removes 1 carbon in the form of carbon dioxide. It is converted into phosphoglyceric acid and then it is converted into phosphoenol pyruvate. Once again regeneration. Then what about this carbon dioxide, internally generated carbon dioxide? This enters into as usual C3 cycle. That means in case of both C3 and C4 plants, there will be Calvin cycle, otherwise C3 cycle. Okay, glycolysis. Again, it's a stage of respiration. Of course, there will be glycolysis and photorespiration. Photorespiration is seen only in case of C3 plants. C4 plants, they do not exhibit this one photorespiration because photorespiration occurs during the deficiency of carbon dioxide. So when there is a concentration of this carbon dioxide reduces, plant shift. So which enzyme is affected? Only Rubisco. So in case of C3 plants, Rubisco is present in the mesophyll cells in C3 plants. So whereas in case of C4 plants, Rubisco is present in the bundle sheath. So ಈ ಒಂದು ಎಂಜೈಮ್ ಯಾವುದು ರೈಬುಲೋಸ್ ಬೈಫಾಸ್ಫೇಟ್ ಕಾರ್ಬಾಕ್ಸಿಲೇಸ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನೇಸ್ ಎಂಜೈಮ್ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ರೈಬುಲೋಸ್ ಬೈಫಾಸ್ಫೇಟ್ ಕಾರ್ಬಾಕ್ಸಿಲೇಸ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನೇಸ್ ಎಂಜೈಮ್. So this is present both in C3, C4, but this is present in mesophyll cells in case of C3 plants and the enzyme is present in the bundle sheath in case of C4 plants. So in case of the deficiency of carbon dioxide in C3 plants, the Rubisco will be affected and it will fix oxygen instead of carbon dioxide. So that's what called photorespiration. Then C4 plants, why they don't exhibit this one, the photorespiration? Because the enzyme is present in the bundle sheath and there is always internal generation of the carbon dioxide. So the optimal concentration of carbon dioxide required for C3 cycle do not fall beyond the optimal level, below the optimal level. So that's why photorespiration is only seen in C3 plants, not in C4 plants. C4 plants only photorespiration iralla. So question ಏನಲ್ಲಿ the process which makes major difference between C3 and C4 plant. ನೋಡಿ first respiration ಎರಡರಲ್ಲೂ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, Calvin cycle ಎರಡರಲ್ಲೂ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, Calvin cycle I told you, just explain you. Glycolysis ಎರಡರಲ್ಲೂ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, photorespiration C3 ನಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, C4 ಅಲ್ಲಿ photorespiration ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. Right. So the answer should be photorespiration. So let us move on to next question. Okay. In a chloroplast, the highest number of protons are found in. Options you have lumen of thylakoid, antenna complex, stroma, and intermembrane space. So recalling the structure of the chloroplast, which is a double membrane. So there is an outer membrane and inner membrane. And there is a space between these two membranes, intermembrane space. And inside this, there will be a sac-like structures which are stacked one above the other. So each one, individual one is called thylakoid and a set of thylakoids, stack of thylakoids is called grana. So pigment systems, there are different pigment systems. Pigment system 2 is present in the stacked membrane. Pigment system 1 is found in the unstacked membrane. So during the light reaction, photoexcitation of chlorophyll, photolysis of water, photophosphorylation, photoreduction. So photolysis of water, I told you, water is split into two hydrogens to release two protons and half O2, that is atomic oxygen. So where these protons will be accumulated? So all these protons will be accumulated. So I'm just magnifying this thylakoid. So pigment system 2 is associated with the water splitting complex. So there is a pigment system 2 which is present in the stacked membrane of the thylakoid or the grana, I can say. So here the water splitting will be taking, and whatever the protons which are released, they will be accumulated in the lumen of thylakoid. So they are accumulated in the lumen of thylakoid, and this is stroma. In case of the respiration, you can just recall where the further oxidation of respiratory substrate or the reducing form of energy which takes place in the mitochondria. So there also chemiosmotic synthesis where the protons or the hydrogens are accumulated in the intermembrane space. ನೋಡಿ ಮೈಟೋಕಾಂಡ್ರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ತರ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಔಟರ್ ಮೆಂಬ್ರೇನ್, ಇನ್ನರ್ ಮೆಂಬ್ರೇನ್, ಪೆರಿಮೈಟೋಕಾಂಡ್ರಿಯಲ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ intermembrane space. So in case of respiration, the protons are accumulated in the intermembrane space. In case of photosynthesis, that's like light reaction, the protons are accumulated in the lumen of thylakoid. Space ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಆ lumen ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಆ thylakoid ನ lumen ಒಳಗಡೆ ಈ protons accumulate ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. Chemiosmotic ಆಗುವಾಗ ಈ lumen ಇಂದ protons ಸ್ಟ್ರೋಮಾಗೆ ಎಂಟ್ರಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. That is what chemiosmotic. So in chloroplast, highest number of protons are found in lumen of thylakoid. Antenna complex, no, it is related to the pigment systems that is present in the thylakoid membrane. And stroma, yeah, not in stroma. Stroma, of course, protons will be there, but not highest. But highest is in lumen. Intermembrane space, of course, there will not be any protons. So answer should be lumen of thylakoids. Moving on to next question. Question number 5. In photosynthesis, the light dependent reactions takes place at photosynthesis. Light dependent reaction takes place at. Just now I explained you, like light dependent reaction, that means the reactions which require the radiant energy, the solar energy, and to trap that energy, there is a requirement of the membranes, pigments. These pigments are present on the thylakoid membrane. So that means the photosynthesis, the light dependent reactions takes place in the thylakoid lumen. Light independent, in photosynthesis, the light independent reaction takes place at light independent reaction. So light dependent reaction where the pigments are present in the thylakoid membrane, hence they occur in the thylakoid membrane. Light independent, they don't require light directly, but they require the products of light reaction. So light independent reaction, otherwise they are also called as stroma reactions, as it occurs in the stroma of the chloroplast. It's also called as Blackman's reaction. It's also called as biosynthetic phase. So light independent reaction occur in the stroma of the chloroplast. So options you have: thylakoid lumen, no. Photosystem 2, it is related with the light reaction. Stroma matrix, of course the answer is stroma matrix. And photosystem 1. Photosystem 1 and 2, present in the thylakoid membrane and they are related to light reaction. The dark reaction, this is also called as dark reaction. So light independent reaction, dark reaction, stroma reaction, Blackman's reaction, biosynthetic phase. Light independent, the reason is they don't require radiant energy directly. Dark reaction means not in the sense they occur in the night time, they don't require light, that's why they are said to be dark reaction. Stroma reaction, the site where these reactions takes place, that is fixation of carbon dioxide, conversion it into glucose. That's the site is stroma, that's why it is called stroma reaction. So Blackman, the scientist name who deduced this stage of photosynthesis, that is Blackman, hence it is called Blackman's reaction. Biosynthetic phase, because there is synthesis of the organic substance, nothing but the carbohydrate, that's why biosynthetic. So answer is very simple, straight, which occur in the stroma of the matrix. Stroma matrix are chloroplast stroma. Next question. Which one of the following is essential for photolysis of water? Manganese, boron, zinc, copper. So I think the same question, I think similar question you might have come across in the chapter mineral nutrition. So various metal ions are related with the various reactions and the complexes. So here in the pigment system 2 is associated with oxygen evolving complex, OEC, oxygen evolving complex, otherwise called water splitting complex, otherwise called Mn complex, otherwise manganese complex. So pigment system 2, which is present in the stacked membrane of the thylakoid. So this is stacked membrane. Here you will be having pigment system 2. So here this pigment system 2 consists a complex called oxygen evolving complex, where there will be photolysis of water, breaking of water. That's why it is called water splitting unitar complex. So it consists an important vital element, that's nothing but manganese, hence it is called manganese complex. So answer is manganese. Okay. PGA, phosphoglyceric acid, as the first CO2 fixation product was discovered in photosynthesis of. So ಇದು history ಅಂದ್ರೆ discovery ಯಾವ ತರ ಆಯ್ತು. So you know that C3 cycle pathway was deduced by Melvin Calvin. Of course, there is an association of one more scientist, is known as Basham. So Melvin Calvin, the main scientist according to the literature, who actually deduced that pathway of carbon dioxide fixation, that's called C3 cycle. So how did they understood this particular process? So how they studied all this particular fixation of the carbon dioxide and conversion of carbon dioxide into the first stable carbon compound, that is, so ribulose biphosphate is going to accept this and it is converted into phosphoglyceric acid, and there is a sequence and series of reactions which occur. So where did they study this? So they studied in algal photosynthesis using an algae. They studied this CO2 fixation. So textbook alli straight line ide. So CO2 fixation adu Melvin Kelvin, where did what was this research material or study material antandaaga angiosperm, gymnosperm, bryophyte, algae. So answer should be algae. Next question. Cyclic photophosphorylation results in the formation of. Cyclic photophosphorylation results in the formation of. photophosphorylation. That means in the presence of light, there will be conversion of ADP into ATP. That is what phosphorylation. Phosphorylation is addition of phosphate to adenosine diphosphate, converting it into ATP, which is the chemical form of energy. For this process, the energy is required. That energy is obtained from the radiant energy from the sun or the photo, what we call light. So what light? This sunlight. So that's why the phosphorylation is called photophosphorylation. So there are two types of photophosphorylation here is are the non-cyclic photophosphorylation and cyclic photophosphorylation. ಸೊ ಏನು ಈ ಒಂದು ಅಡಿನೋಸೈನ್ ಡೈಫಾಸ್ಫೇಟ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಇನಾರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಫಾಸ್ಫೇಟ್ ಕಂಬೈನ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ATP ಆಗಿ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಸನ್ಲೈಟ್ ಇಂದ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸನ್ಲೈಟ್ ಇಂದ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಸನ್ಲೈಟ್ ಯುಟಿಲೈಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ? ನೋ. Photo excitation of chlorophyll, I told you, first process. So whatever the electrons which are excited, they move through series of electron carrier. ಸೊ ಈ ಒಂದು ಲೈಟ್ ಇಂದ ಎಕ್ಸೈಟ್ ಆದಾಗ ಏನು ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಕ್ಯಾರಿಯರ್ ಇಂದ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಆ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಕ್ಯಾರಿಯರ್ ಇಂದ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಸೈಕಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಒಂದು ನಾನ್ ಸೈಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಫೋಟೋಫಾಸ್ಫೋರಿಲೇಷನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಸೈಕ್ಲಿಕ್. ವಾಟ್ ಡು ಯು ಮೀನ್ ಬೈ ನಾನ್ ಸೈಕ್ಲಿಕ್? ದಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ರಿಲೀಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿ ಪಿಗ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಟು ಇಟ್, whereas cyclic it returns back to it. So in case of non-cyclic, so we have like a pigment system. So P680, that's nothing but P680, that is pigment system 2. So when light falls on this, electron is excited. This electron moves through series of electron carrier. Then it reaches PS1. Again from PS1 the electron is excited and it moves through series of electron carriers. And finally it is accepted by NADPH, converting it into NADPH2. So whatever the electron which is moved from the pigment system 2, it moves through series of electron carrier and finally it is accepted by the NADPH. That means it is not returning back. So that's why it is called non-cyclic. Whereas in case of cyclic photophosphorylation, only pigment system 1 is involved. Only pigment system 1 is involved. ಇದೊಂದೇ pigment system involve ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. So again, whatever the electron which passes through series of electron carriers, it moves through series of electron carriers and finally it returns back to pigment system 1. This is called cyclic. So during the cyclic and non-cyclic, there are certain products what form. So the products of non-cyclic and cyclic, what are they? In case of non-cyclic photophosphorylation, there is formation of ATP, NADPH2 as well as oxygen is evolved. Whereas in case of cyclic photophosphorylation, as it is associated with only PS1, there is formation of only ATP. So NADPH and the O2 are not formed in the cyclic photophosphorylation. So cyclic photophosphorylation results in the formation of ATP, NADPH. Options are nodi. First option ATP, NADPH and O2. Second ATP and NADPH. Third only ATP and fourth only NADPH. So the only product formed in the cyclic photophosphorylation is ATP. The only product form is ATP, whereas non-cyclically ATP, NADPH, O2. So answer here, cyclic photophosphorylation results in the formation of ATP only. Okay, next question. In leaves of C4 plants, malic acid synthesis during CO2 fixation occur in. Malic acid synthesis 4 carbon compound occur in LE. So already previous question already detail ಆಗಿ explain ಮಾಡಿದೆ ನಾನು. So once again just a quick recall. C4 plants, two types of chlorophyll, mesophyll and bundle sheath. So the atmospheric carbon dioxide is accepted by phosphoenol pyruvate 3 carbon compound present in the mesophyll. So this phosphoenol pyruvate, which is a 3 carbon compound, after condensation it is converted into 4 carbon compound oxaloacetic acid or malic acid. So this 4 carbon compound then it is transported into bundle sheath. So in the question, in leaves of C4 plants, two types of chloroplast will be there, mesophyll and bundle sheath. So malic acid synthesis during CO2 fixation occur in LE. Very simple. So it occurs in the mesophyll. Epidermal cells no, bundle sheath no, guard cells. So of course bundle sheath and mesophills are related. Epidermal and guard cells are not associated with photosynthesis majorly. Hence the answer should be mesophyll cells. Moving on to question number 10. For assimilation of one CO2 molecule, the energy required in the form of ATP and NADPH are. Okay, in case of C3 cycle, I told you light reaction wherein the light energy is converted into chemical energy, ATP and NADPH2, and these two energies are utilized in the C3 cycle are during the second phase of photosynthesis, that is dark reaction. So atmospheric carbon dioxide is accepted by ribulose monophosphate 5 carbon compound. So it is converted into two molecules of 3 carbon compound phosphoglyceric acid. 6 carbon ಆಗುತ್ತೆ but unstable ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ split ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ಟು 2 carbon compound ಆಗಿ form ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. See, sorry, this is ribulose biphosphate. Ribulose biphosphate. Ribulose biphosphate is a carbon dioxide acceptor in the C3 plant. Atmospheric carbon dioxide diffuse ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಅದನ್ನ ರಿಸೀವ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಸೀವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥವ್ರು ಯಾರು? Ribulose biphosphate. And remember, always there will not be presence of ribulose biphosphate. Ribulose biphosphate will be formed in higher concentration during the daytime as photosynthesis takes place in the daytime. Then what always is present? So in the plants, ribulose monophosphate will be present at all time. Ribulose monophosphate. This is also 5 carbon compound, but it's a monophosphate. Who is the acceptor? Ribulose biphosphate or the diphosphate. So there it requires one more phosphate here. So for addition of one more phosphate, who is going to donate phosphate here? So phosphate has to be obtained from the ATP and it is converted into ADP. Well, see, we shall recall the general reaction. CO2 plus H2O give rise to C6 H12 O6. This is the main product and 6 molecules of O2. C6H12O6. In one glucose molecule, how many carbons are there? 6 carbons are there. In carbon dioxide, how many carbons are there? 1 carbon. That means to produce one molecule of glucose, you require 6 molecules of carbon dioxide. You require 6 molecules of carbon dioxide. That means the carbon dioxide fixation for production of one molecule of C6H12O6 glucose has to take place for 6 times. 6 carbon molecules fix ಆದರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 6 times fix ಆಗಬೇಕು. That means this Calvin cycle will run for 6 times to produce one glucose molecule. ಒಂದು ಗ್ಲೂಕೋಸ್ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ 6 ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಡೈಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್ಸ್ ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಒಂದು ಗ್ಲೂಕೋಸ್ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಈ 6 ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಡೈಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್ 6 ಟೈಮ್ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಟಿಮೇಟ್ಲಿ ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು, ಒನ್ ಗ್ಲೂಕೋಸ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ವಿನ್ ಸೈಕಲ್ 6 ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ರನ್ ಆಗಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. 6 ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ರನ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಗ್ಲೂಕೋಸ್ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಾವು 6 ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ಬರೆಯೋಕ್ಕಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಆಗಿ ತೋರಿಸೋದಕ್ಕೆ. ಸೊ ಸ್ಕಿಮ್ಯಾಟಿಕಲ್ ಏನ್ ಬರಿತೀವಿ, 6 ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಬರಿತೀವಿ. So 6 carbon dioxide. To accept 6 carbon dioxide, how many ribulose biphosphate you require? For 1 carbon dioxide, 1 ribulose biphosphate. For 6 carbon, you require 6 ribulose biphosphate. To produce 6 ribulose biphosphate, you require 6 ribulose monophosphate. For conversion of 6 molecules of ribulose monophosphate into ribulose biphosphate, obviously you require 6 molecules of ATP. So this is the first phosphorylation in the Calvin cycle, what I can say. Well, let us see what happens further. So now whatever this phosphoglyceric acid is formed in this Calvin cycle, it is converted into, so I can say here, so 6 molecules of ribulose biphosphate condensing with 6 molecules of carbon dioxide, they produce 6 molecules of 6 carbon compound which is unstable. So carbon compound 6 carbon ಇರತಕ್ಕಂತ 6 molecules produce ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So this 6 carbon compound is unstable, each split into 2 molecules. So 6 molecule ಇದೆ, ಪ್ರತಿ 6 carbon compound molecule ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, split ಆಗುತ್ತೆ equal ಆಗಿ. That means 6 molecules of 6 carbon compound splits into 12 molecules of 3 carbon compound. Today 6 molecules of 6 carbon. That means how many carbon total? 6 into 6. 6 are 6. 36 carbon I can say. So you can split into 3 carbon compound. So how many carbon you require? How many molecules you will be having? 12 molecules. So 3 carbon 12 molecules ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. 6 carbon ಆದ್ರೆ 6 molecules ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So you will be getting 12 molecules of phosphoglyceric acid. So now the next reaction is reduction. That means addition of hydrogen. So see, this phosphoglyceric acid in the next step it is converted into biphosphoglyceric acid. This is also 3 carbon compound. How many? 12. Phosphoglyceric acid, phospho, that means only one phosphate. In the next reactant, what you have? Biphosphoglyceric acid. That means one phosphate is added. For conversion of one phosphoglyceric acid into 1 bi-PGA, you require 1 ATP. It is converted into ADP. But such conversions, you have 12 molecules. You require 12 molecules of PGA to be converted into bi-PGA. So obviously ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ 12 molecules ATP ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. This is second phosphorylation, not reduction, second phosphorylation. So next is reduction. Bi-PGA undergo reduction. What do you mean by reduction? Addition of hydrogen. Who is going to donate hydrogen? NADPH2. How many molecules you have bi-PGA? So you have 12 molecules of bi-PGA. To convert 12 molecules of bi-PGA, to reduce 12 molecules of bi-PGA, you require 12 NADPH2. And after the reduction, 12 NADP will be released. What is the resulting product? Resulting product will be phosphoglyceraldehyde or glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. This is also again 3 carbon compound. But how many molecules? 12. Further, what happens out of these 12 molecules of phosphoglyceraldehyde, out of these 12 molecules, 10 molecules of phosphoglyceraldehyde, they enter into regeneration of ribulose monophosphate. So, if the cycle has to be continued, the acceptor has to be continuously generated. That means ribulose monophosphate is converted into ribulose biphosphate. But one simple example. So plant cell ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಲೋರೋಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು 6 ರೈಬುಲೋಸ್ ಮೊನೋಫಾಸ್ಫೇಟ್ ಇದೆ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ಸೊ ಅಟ್ಮಾಸ್ಫಿಯರಿಕ್ ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಡೈಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆಯ್ತು, 6 ರೈಬುಲೋಸ್ ಮೊನೋಫಾಸ್ಫೇಟ್ಸ್ 6 ರೈಬುಲೋಸ್ ಬೈಫಾಸ್ಫೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಆಯ್ತು. 6 ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಡೈಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು 3 ಗ್ಲೂಕೋಸ್ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. But is it enough? Only 3 molecules of glucose? No. So if there is deficiency or the scarcity of ribulose monophosphate, the photosynthesis or Calvin cycle cannot be ensured. So the acceptor has to be regenerated. ಯಾವುದೇ cyclic process ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, the initial reactant ವಾಪಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ generate ಆಗಲೇಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. That's why we call it as cyclic reaction. So for regeneration of ribulose monophosphate, 10 BGL will be used, and the remaining 2 will be entering into stroma for synthesis of 1 molecule of glucose. So in this cyclic reaction, for assimilation of 1 carbon dioxide molecule, the energy requirement for required form of ATP and NADPH2 are, so 5, 3, 2 ATP and 2 NADPH2, 18 ATP and 12 NADPH2, 3 ATP and 2 NADPH2. So answer should be here. So it's like for 1 CO2. So they have asked 1 CO2. If you consider 1 CO2, again you require here 1 ribulose biphosphate. For conversion of 1 ribulose biphosphate, you require 1 ATP. So we have such how many ATPs there? First option 5 ATP and 3 NADPH. No. Second option is 2 ATP, 2 NADPH. No. 18 ATPs and 12 NADPH2. 3 ATP and 2 NADPH2. 3 ATP and 2 NADPH2. So here 1 ATP. Okay, if it is 1, just we erase this. For 1 carbon dioxide, in the question they have 1 carbon dioxide. So 1 molecule of ribulose biphosphate, 1 molecule of carbon dioxide converted into 2 molecules. So here you require 1 ATP, and in this reaction you require 2 ATP. So next, to convert this 2 molecules of BiPGA, you require 2 molecules of NADPH2. It is converted into 2 molecules of NADP. So answer should be 1 ATP, again 2 ATP, 3 ATPs and 2 NADPH2. Fourth, option 4. Let us move on to question number 11. Okay. For synthesis of 1 glucose molecule, the Calvin cycle operates for 4 times, 2 times, 6 times, 8 times. Just now I explained you. ಇಲ್ಲ ಮುಂದೆನೇ ಇದೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಸೈಕಲ್. ಸೊ 6 ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಡೈಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ, 6 ರೈಬುಲೋಸ್ ಬೈಫಾಸ್ಫೇಟ್, 6 ATP, 6 ribulose monophosphates. Here it will become 12, here 12, here 12. So this is what the cyclic reaction. So for production of 1 glucose, you require the 6 Calvin cycle to be run. Next question. The primary acceptor during CO2 fixation in C3 plants. Primary acceptor in C3 plants. Again, it's here on the board. The primary acceptor in the C3 plant is ribulose biphosphate or the ribulose diphosphate. So options ನಲ್ಲಿ ಫಾಸ್ಫೈನಾಲ್ ಪೈರುವೇಟ್ ಇದೆ, ಅದು C4 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Ribulose 1,5 diphosphate, otherwise 1,5 biphosphate is the right answer. Ribulose monophosphate, actually it will be present always, but it is not the acceptor. ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಡೈಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್ ನ ಅಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಡೈಫಾಸ್ಫೇಟ್, ರೈಬುಲೋಸ್ ಡೈಫಾಸ್ಫೇಟ್, but not ribulose monophosphate. Phosphoglyceric acid is not the compound, right? Next question. A photosynthesizing plant is releasing O18 more than the normal plant. The plant must have been supplied with. So it's very straight question. Photosynthesis, the main product is the glucose and the byproduct is the oxygen. So for production of oxygen, how this oxygen is released? By splitting of the water. So there must be enough supply of water. So photosynthesizing plant is releasing oxygen, that is radio-labeled radioactive isotope of oxygen O18 more than the normal plant. The plant must have been supplied with CO2 with O18, C6H12O6 with O18, O3, H2O with O18. So obviously water, because oxygen is released from splitting of the water. Okay. Photosystem 2 occur in. So previous questions ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸುಮಾರು ಸರಿ explain ಮಾಡಿದೆ. Photosystem or the pigment system. So pigment system 1 and 2, both these pigment system occur in the thylakoid membrane, otherwise grana. So options you have stroma, grana, mitochondrial surface, cytochrome. So answer should be grana. The enzyme that catalyzes carbon dioxide fixation in C4 plants. So atmospheric carbon dioxide and ribulose biphosphate. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಡೈಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕಾರ್ಬಾಕ್ಸಿಲೇಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಎನ್ಸೈಮ್ ಯಾವುದು? ಕಾರ್ಬಾಕ್ಸಿಲೇಸ್. ಯಾವ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ? ರೈಬುಲೋಸ್ ಬೈಫಾಸ್ಫೇಟ್ ಗೆ. ಸೊ ದಿ ಎನ್ಸೈಮ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ರೈಬುಲೋಸ್ ಬೈಫಾಸ್ಫೇಟ್ carboxylase and oxygenase. So enzyme is abbreviated as Rubisco, ribulose biphosphate carboxylase. Here particularly they have given carbonic anhydrase, PEP carboxylase, carboxydismutase and RUBP carboxylase. Ribulose biphosphate carboxylase is the right answer. Well, next question. So from question number 16, the questions are from the chapter biotechnology and its application. So the question here is, which of the following is commonly used as a vector for introducing DNA fragment in human lymphocytes? So vector, I told you in the previous session also, host vector should be coevolved. There should be host vector relationship. So there are specific vectors for bacterial cells, transforming bacterial cells. There are specific vectors for plant cells and for animal cells. So for bacterial cells, the plasmids are used, which are native to bacteria itself. And for plant, a TI plasmid is used from agrobacterium based on the natural affinity. And for animal cells, the retroviruses are used. So vector used to introduce DNA fragment into human lymphocytes. Humans, of course, they are into animal kingdom. So options are retrovirus, TI plasmid, PBR322, lambda FAS. So retrovirus is the right answer. TI plasmid, that's used for plant cells. PBR322 used for bacterial cells. Lambda FAS again for bacterial cells. So answer should be retrovirus. Next question. Which kind of therapy was given in 1990 to a 4-year-old girl with adenosine deaminase deficiency? See, ADA deficiency, adenosine deaminase. This because of the non-functional ADA gene, adenosine deaminase gene, which is coding for the important or vital enzyme adenosine deaminase required for the immune system. So, wherein the deficiency of this causes the disease called SCID, severe combined immunodeficiency disease. So, here the main cause is the faulty gene or non-functional gene, mutated faulty gene or non-functional gene. So, in order to treat this particular condition, the root cause is in the gene. So, obviously, we need to treat the gene, hence, it is called gene therapy. The first gene therapy was conducted in the year 1990 to a 4-year-old girl by name Ashanti De Silva. By a scientist by name Anderson, doctor and scientist by name Anderson, was working at NIH, National Institute of Health. So, ಯಾವುದು therapy ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ gene therapy ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Radiation therapy using radiations not used here. Gene therapy is the answer. Chemotherapy using the medicines or the drugs. Immunotherapy using antibiotics, interference, etc. But here the concept is gene therapy. Let us move on to the next question. Which part of the tobacco plant is infected by Melodygaena incognitia? You know that Melodygaena incognitia. Melodygaena incognitia is a root nematode. What we say, root nematode. In case of tobacco, so there will be infection of this Melodygaena incognitia. It invades the root cells of this plant and it induces root knot. ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ ರೂಟ್ ಹೇರ್ಸ್ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅದೆಲ್ಲದು ಒಂದು ನಾಟ್ ತರ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ನಾಟ್ ಯಾವಾಗ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಒಂದು ಅಬ್ಸಾರ್ಪ್ಷನ್ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಏರಿಯಾ ರಿಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ವಾಟರ್ ಅಬ್ಸಾರ್ಪ್ಷನ್ ಮಿನರಲ್ ಅಬ್ಸಾರ್ಪ್ಷನ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆಬ್ವಿಯಸ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ ಅಫೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ದಿ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಗ್ರೋತ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್, ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಗ್ರೋತ್ ಅಂಡ್ reproduction. So Melodygaena incognitia infects which part? That's called options are leaf, root, stem and flower. So it infects the root and the disease is called root knot disease. Okay, moving on to next question, question number 19. Golden rice is genetically modified crop plant where the incorporated gene is meant for biosynthesis of. Golden rice is a genetically modified crop. So incorporated gene is meant for biosynthesis of what? So you know that transgenic plants, various transgenic plants for quantitative as well as qualitative. So one such application in qualitative, that is nutritional enhancement, is golden rice. So golden rice, realizing the effects of the deficiency of vitamin A throughout the globe. So throughout the globe, the scientists, they have realized that there is a deficiency and they have to, however, address this particular issues. So they try to introduce, make this rice, as the rice is the staple food throughout the globe. So they try to enrich the content of vitamin in the rice plant particularly. They did not enrich the direct vitamin A in the rice, but however, they introduced a gene which is coding for beta carotene. So beta carotene is the precursor for synthesis of vitamin A. So a scientist by name Ingo Potricus, he actually designed this golden rice. They have transferred two genes here, that is PSY, phytoin synthase gene. Phytoin synthase gene. This is from plant daffodil. And then CRTL gene, that is phytoin suppressor. And this is from Erwinia bacteria. So it's an additional information. Just golden rice is the transgenic plant which is enriched for synthesis of vitamin A, vitamin A. So don't be in a perception that they have introduced a gene for synthesis of vitamin A directly. The vitamin A is produced through a beta carotene pigment like structure, beta carotene. So there is a higher concentration of beta carotene, obviously it will be transformed or converted into vitamin A metabolically. So golden rice is enriched for vitamin A. Next question. In BT cotton, the BT toxin are present in plant tissue as prototoxin is converted into active toxin due to. So you know that Bacillus thuringiensis is a soil bacterium. So one of the application in rDNA technology. So where from this BT, Bacillus thuringiensis, the crystal protein genes are transferred into plants in order to make them insect resistant. So there is a mechanism of cry genes or crystal protein genes. So inside the bacteria, the crystal proteins are present as prototoxins or protoxin. That means inactive form. So they are converted into toxic substances because of the environment. That's the surrounding conditions. See, toxic in the sense it depends on the environment. Basically, a toxin is a protein. For example, you see, we say snake venom. ಅದು ವಿಷ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ, ಹಾವಿನ ವಿಷ. ಅದು ಬೇರೆ ಅನಿಮಲ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಟಾಕ್ಸಿಕ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಹೊರತು ಅದು ಸ್ನೇಕ್ಗೆ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಟಾಕ್ಸಿಕ್ ಆಗಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. So similarly, there are different proteins produced. In case of bacteria also, it's a protein, protoxin. It's inactive form. It is not active in bacteria. The reason is they don't have environment. So because of the environment, they are inactive. But whenever they get suitable environment, what is that suitable environment? They get activated in the alkaline pH. Alkaline pH. So alkaline pH, you know that it is more than 7, what we call alkaline pH. So in the alkaline pH, they get activated and they actually act as toxic substance to kill the insects. So in the insect gut system, there is an alkaline pH. When this crystal protein enters into insect gut system, the crystal protein gets activated into active toxin. So options nodana ಏನಿದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ, action of gut microorganisms, no. So it is converted to active due to microorganisms, no. Presence of converted factors in insect gut, no. Acidic pH of insect gut, no. Alkaline pH of the insect gut is the right answer. Okay. Which body of the government of India regulates GM research and safety of introducing GM organisms for public services? So genetic engineering, transferring gene from any cell to any cell, irrespective of domain also. You can transfer from bacteria into humans or human gene into bacteria also. But any technology should be for constructive purpose. There should not be any destructive purposes. Whatever may be the technologies, we have nuclear technology, biotechnology. So even like we can use this biotechnology for like destructive purposes, as like bioterrorism or bio war, what we call. So there are certain deadly pathogens. So you know that whatever the discussions and the arguments which are going at present, whatever the COVID-19 virus, the coronavirus modified virus is there, that has been like deliberately released by uh, the China, but there is no like proper evidences for that. But there is all possibility of using this deadly microorganism for the destruction of the whole mankind. Hence, there must be some regulatory authorities throughout the globe. So, at the level of country, also there are various regulatory authorities such as Genetic Engineering Approval Committee, GEAC, Genetic Engineering Approval Committee. So, there is one more committee at the international level which is called RDAC, that is RDNA Approval Committee, sorry, Advisory RDNA Advisory Committee. So, whatever the project will be initiated, they will be giving certain guidelines. So, deadly microorganisms to prepare a vaccine also, it's very risky process. Researching on HIV virus or even the coronavirus, the scientists will be at high risk. So, they will be having biosafety levels, biosafety level 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 is most stringent. So, wherever the deadly microorganisms if you are going to handle, there will be stringent biosafety levels. So, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದು ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದರೆ GEAC, Genetic Engineering Approval Committee. So, international level ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕಮಿಟಿ RDNA Advisory Committee. Institution level we have IBC, Institutional Biosafety Committee. So, answer should be your Genetic Engineering Approval Committee. So, moving on to question number 22. The first human hormone produced by recombinant DNA technology is, it's very simple. The first human hormone produced is the insulin. So, it was produced by an American company called Eli Lilly in the year 1983, and this human insulin, call it as Humulin, this was produced in a genetically modified Escherichia coli. So, into bacterium E. coli, the gene coding for A chain and B chain has been introduced, and the human insulin has been successfully produced through RDNA technology. That's called Humulin. So, first company to start this particular project was an American company, that is Eli Lilly, in the year 1983. So, in Karnataka also we have a reputed industry company wherein there is production of recombinant human insulin, that is Humulin, which is located at Bangalore. The company is called Biocon. ಸೊ ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಬಯೋಕಾನ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ಕಂಪ್ನಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಒಂದು ರೀಕಾಂಬಿನೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ಸುಲಿನ್ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಸಿ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್. RNA interference involves. RNA interference involves. So you know that the central dogma where the DNA is converted, it expresses into mRNA and mRNA into protein. So process of synthesis of mRNA is called transcription, and process of synthesis of protein from mRNA is called translation. And there are various the levels of gene regulation. So the gene expression is highly energy consuming process. So various levels of regulating this process are found in the every cell. It may be prokaryotic or eukaryotic, but the mechanisms are different. So in general, DNA to mRNA, mRNA to protein, transcription, translation. So after we can control at the transcription level or at the post transcriptional level, that's called a post transcriptional modification, or at the translation level. ನೋಡಿ DNA ಇಂದ mRNA ಬರೋದನ್ನೇ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬಹುದು ಅಥವಾ mRNA ಇಂದ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್ ಸಿಂಥಸಿಸ್ ನ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಅಂಡ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಫೀಸಿಬಲ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕನ್ವೀನಿಯಂಟ್ ಒನ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿ ಬ್ಲಾಕಿಂಗ್ ದಿ ಸಿಂಥಸಿಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿ mRNA. mRNA ಇಂದ ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್ ನ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಪ್ರಾಸೆಸ್. ಈಗ ವೆರಿ ಸಿಂಪಲ್, ಮನೆಗೆ ನಮಗೆ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಇರುತ್ತೆ? ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಕಂಬದಿಂದ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ಆ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಕಂಬಕ್ಕೆ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫಾರ್ಮರ್ ಅಂತ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಆ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫಾರ್ಮರ್ಗೆ ಮೇನ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಇಂದ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲಾದ್ರೂ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಸಪ್ಲೈನ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಕಂಬದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬಹುದು ಅಥವಾ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫಾರ್ಮರ್ ಅಥವಾ ಮೇನ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಫೀಸಿಬಲ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಅದೇ ತರ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಷನ್ ನ ನಾವು ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಲೇಷನ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ RNA interference. You are going to interfere the expression of mRNA into the protein. That's what the meaning of RNA interference. So what you are going to do there? So you know that double stranded DNA synthesizes single stranded mRNA. So if mRNA is single stranded, it produces the protein. If mRNA is converted into double stranded, in the sense you are going to produce a complementary mRNA or RNA for this mRNA. So once it becomes double stranded, the translation cannot be proceeded. So that's what called RNA interference, otherwise called RNA silencing, also called as antisense RNA technology. Right. So answer should be silencing of specific mRNA due to complementary RNA. That's the second option. Okay. Question number 24. Which of the following vector is used to replace the defective gene in gene therapy? So gene therapy generally, you know that it is done for in case of humans. So as the humans are basically animals, so what should be the vector here? It's very simple. Ti plasmid is used for plant cells, Ri plasmid root inducing plasmid, Ti tumor inducing, this is present in Agrobacterium tumefaciens, and Ri root inducing, this causes hairy root disease, this causes crown gall disease. And Ri plasmid is found in again Agrobacterium, but Agrobacterium rhizogenus. Adenovirus, retrovirus which is used. So answer should be adenovirus. Cosmids are the combination of, they are prepared by combination of plasmid and coscytes. ಇಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಡೀಟೇಲ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ನಿಮಗೆ, ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಇರಲಿ. ಕಾಸೈಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೀರಿಯೋಫೇಜಸ್, ಕೊಹೆಸಿವ್ ಸೈಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಮಿಡ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಕಾಸೈಟ್ಸ್ ನ ಕಂಬೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕಾಸ್ಮಿಡ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಜನರಲಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಕ್ಲೋನ್ ದಿ ಲಾರ್ಜ್ ಸೆಗ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ DNAs or to transfer large segments of DNA. So answer should be adenovirus, which is a retrovirus. Maximum number of existing transgenic animals are of. So there are different transgenic animals like transgenic mice, transgenic fish, transgenic rabbit, transgenic pig, transgenic cow, transgenic sheep, etc. So among all this, that is more than 95% are of mice. ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಜೆನಿಕ್ ಅನಿಮಲ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜ್ ಇರೋದು ಟ್ರಾನ್ಜೆನಿಕ್ ಮೈಸ್. ಯಾಕೆ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಜೆನಿಕ್ ಮೈಸ್, ಯಾಕೆ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಜೆನಿಕ್ ಪಿಗ್, ಕೌ ಯಾಕೆ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ Actually, the basic purpose of production of these transgenic animals is for research, to study the anatomy, not in the sense anatomy exactly, the physiology, metabolism, and the drug metabolism, the vaccine safety, chemical safety. So most of them animals are the transgenic animals are the transgenic mice. So why are we not using the cow or fish or pig for testing the chemicals or for these studies? ಅದಕ್ಕೊಂದು ರೀಸನ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ನಾವೇನು ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ ಫಿಸಿಯಾಲಜಿ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ, ಅದು ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಫಿಸಿಯಾಲಜಿ, ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಮೆಟಾಬಾಲಿಸಮ್, ಡ್ರಗ್ ಮೆಟಾಬಾಲಿಸಮ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗೋದನ್ನ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ, ದಟ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಫರ್ದರ್ understanding the diseases, understanding the gene interaction, understanding the drug metabolism. It improves the effectiveness of the treatment in certain diseases. ಸೊ ಯಾಕೆ ಮೌಸ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡಿದೀವಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ, ಅದನ್ನೇ ಯಾಕೆ ನಾವು ಮಾಡಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ನಿಯರ್ಲಿ 97% ಆಫ್ ಕೋಡಿಂಗ್ ಸೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೌಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಸೇಮ್. ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ಸ್ಗೂ ಮತ್ತೆ ಮೌಸ್ಗೂ 97% ಕೋಡಿಂಗ್ DNA ಸಿಮಿಲಾರಿಟಿ ಇದೆ ನೋಡಿ. 97% ಮೌಸ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಏನಿದೆ, ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ಸ್ ಏನ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರು, ಏನ್ ಕಾಂಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್, ಬಾಡಿ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಇನ್ ಜನರಲ್ ಆಗಿ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ದರ್ ಇಸ್ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಬಟ್ ಅಟ್ ದ DNA ಲೆವೆಲ್ 97% ಸಿಮಿಲಾರಿಟಿ ಇದೆ. 3% ಅಫ್ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. However, there is 97%. Remaining animals ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ as they are not like domestic, the rats or mouse used, they are like albino rabbits ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಗಿನಿಯಾ ಪಿಗ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಅಂಡ್ ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ರೇಟರಿ ಮೌಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ದೀಸ್ ಮೌಸ್ ಮೇಕ್ಸ್ ನಿಯರ್ಲಿ ಮೋರ್ than 95% of all other transgenic animals. Let us see next question. Bacillus thuringiensis forms protein crystals which contain insecticidal protein. This protein, Bacillus thuringiensis ಅಲ್ಲಿ protein crystal ಇದೆ, insecticidal protein. ಆ protein ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ? ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ? Is coded by several genes including the gene CRY. No, it's coded by CRY genes. Several genes ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ including CRY genes ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. No, the insecticidal proteins are produced through CRY genes, crystal protein genes. So first option wrong ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Does not kill the carrier bacterium which is itself resistant to this toxin. Does not kill the carrier bacterium which is itself resistant to this toxin. But ನಮಗೆ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, Bacillus thuringiensis forms protein crystals which contain insecticidal protein. This protein ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆ insecticidal protein ಏನು ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್, ಇನ್ಸೆಕ್ಟಿಸೈಡಲ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ಸೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಾವು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಅಷ್ಟು ರೈಟ್ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಪ್ರಿಸೈಸ್ ಆರ್ ಆಪ್ಟ್. ಥರ್ಡ್ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ನೋಡೋಣ, ಫೋರ್ತ್ ನೋಡೋಣ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಥರ್ಡ್ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ ನಿಮಗೆ, ಈಸ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವೇಟೆಡ್ ಬೈ ಅಸಿಡಿಕ್ pH ಆಫ್ ದಿ foregut of insect paste. No, it is activated by alkaline pH. Fourth option, binds with the epithelial cells of midgut of the insect paste, ultimately killing it. So once the crystal protein enters into the gut system of the insect, because of the alkaline pH, it gets activated, converted into active toxin, and it binds with the epithelial cells, increases the porosity of the epithelial cells, where the water enters into the epithelial cells, cells bulge and ultimately they rupture. Eventually the insect dies. So insecticidal protein anta ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ fourth option ನಮಗೆ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Does not kill the carrier bacterium which is itself resistant to the toxin ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. ಬಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಇದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಟ್ರಿಕಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಕ್ವಶನ್ ನ ಎಂಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಸೆಕ್ಟಿಸೈಡಲ್ ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್ ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಮಗೆ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಸೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದರದ್ದು ಒಂದು ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಅನ್ನು ನೋಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಫೋರ್ತ್ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿ ಆಪ್ಟ್ ಒನ್. ಓಕೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್. Silencing of mRNA has been used in producing transgenic plant resistant to. It's a simple question again. mRNA silencing or the RNA interference. So we have a best example in the textbook. What is given? RNA interference is used in the controlling of nematode, that is Meloidigae incognitia. So straight answer, nematodes, not bacterial blights, white rust, bollworms. So the bacterial blight, bacterial disease, white rust caused by the fungal bollworms, insects. So, but RNA interference is used in nematodes. Well, next question, moving on to question number 28. Cry1 endotoxins obtained from Bacillus thuringiensis are effective against. So, options are there. See, crystal protein, there are different crystal protein genes. Not all crystal proteins are toxic to all insects. There are different class of insects such as Lepidoptera, Coleoptera, Diptera, etc. So Lepidoptera includes tobacco budworm, armyworm, and Coleoptera include beetles, and Diptera includes mosquitoes and flies. So different crystal proteins producing different types of endotoxins, each is specific or toxic to specific type of insects. ನೋಡಿ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಕ್ರಿಸ್ಟಲ್ ಪ್ರೋಟೀನು ಲೆಪಿಡಾಪ್ಟೆರಾ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಗೆ ಟಾಕ್ಸಿಕ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಇನ್ನು ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಕಾಲಿಯಾಪ್ಟೆರಾ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಗೆ, ಇನ್ನು ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಡಿಪ್ಟೆರಾ. ಅದರ ಅರ್ಥ ಏನು, ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಕ್ರಿಸ್ಟಲ್ ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಇನ್ಸೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿರಲ್ಲ, ಒಂದು ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಸಿಟಿ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ. ಸೊ ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಕ್ರಿಸ್ಟಲ್ ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್ ಜೀನ್ಸ್. ಸಮ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ examples mentioned in textbook are Cry1AC, Cry1AC, Cry2AB, and Cry1AB. So Cry1AC and Cry2AB are effective against bollworms, and Cry1AB is effective against corn borer. ಈ ಮೂರು ಜೀನ್ಸ್ ನ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋದು ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ತುಂಬಾ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್, ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾನೆ. ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನ ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್. Cry1AC, Cry2AB, Cry1AB ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಅನಲೈಸ್, ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಹಿಯರ್, ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ಟೂ ಮೇನ್ ಟೈಪ್ಸ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ Cry1, Cry2. ಅಂಡ್ ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ದಿ ಸಬ್ ಟೈಪ್ಸ್? AB, AC. ನೋಡಿ, Cry1, Cry2. ಸಬ್ ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ಏನಿದೆ? AB, AC ಇದೆ. ಇದನ್ನ ನೆನ್ಪಿಡುವಾಗ ನಾವು ಫಸ್ಟ್ Cry1, Cry2 ಅಂತ ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ಅಲ್ಫಾಬೆಟಿಕಲಿ ಸೀರಿಯಲಿ ಹೋದ್ರೆ Cry1, Cry2. ಅಲ್ಫಾಬೆಟಿಕಲಿ ನೀವು ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ? ಫಸ್ಟ್ AB ಬರ್ಬೇಕು, ಆಮೇಲೆ AC ಬರ್ಬೇಕು. ಬಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೆನ್ಪಿಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಉಲ್ಟಾ ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Cry1AC ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಆಮೇಲೆ Cry2AB ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ದೆನ್ ಅಗೇನ್ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಒನ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? ಆಸ್ ಯೂಶುವಲ್ ಸೀರಿಯಲ್ ಹೋಗ್ರಿ, Cry1 ಬರೀರಿ, ಅಲ್ಫಾಬೆಟಿಕಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ರಿ, AB ಬರೀರಿ, Cry1AB. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟು ಆರ್ ಫಾರ್ bollworms. And second one, that is Cry1AB, is for corn borer. ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಆಲ್ಫಾಬೆಟಿಕಲ್ ಇದೆ, BC. B means bollworms, C means corn borer. ಸೊ ಹೀಗೆ ನೀವು ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೋಬಹುದು. ಎರಡು ಮೇನ್ ಟೈಪ್ Cry1, Cry2, ಸಬ್ ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ABAC. ಫಸ್ಟ್ AC ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಆಮೇಲೆ AB. ಈ ಎರಡು bollworms ಗೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಅಗೇನ್ ಸೀರಿಯಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡಿ, Cry1 ಮತ್ತೆ ಆಲ್ಫಾಬೆಟಿಕಲಿ AB, that is for corn borer. So Cry1 endotoxins obtained from Bacillus thuringiensis are effective against, so undoubtedly, bollworms. Question number 29. Human insulin being commercially produced from transgenic species of, just previous question I'll explain ಮಾಡಿದೆ. So human insulin is produced through RNA technology in the bacterium, genetically modified bacterium, that is Escherichia coli. Saccharomyces is the yeast. No, it's not used. Rhizobium, Mycobacterium. So modified, genetically modified bacteria, Escherichia coli ನಲ್ಲಿ human insulin produce ಮಾಡಿರೋದು. Okay. Coming to the last question, question number 30th. The transgenic animals. The transgenic animals are those which have. So transgenic means any cell, any organism which is having a alien gene, foreign gene, native ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಯಾವುದೋ ಬೇರೆ ಸೆಲ್ ಇಂದ ತಗೊಂಡಿರುತ್ತೆ. So all those organisms which are modified genetically or which have the alien gene or foreign gene are called genetically modified organisms. In general, what we call GM, genetically modified organism, GMOs. So if it is plant particularly, you can call it as genetically modified plant, otherwise transgenic plant. If you are modifying an animal, you can say genetically modified animal or transgenic animal. So whatever the gene which we are introducing, it's not directly into the individual. So there is some process. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಡೀಟೇಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಗೆ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಟಿಶ್ಯೂ ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಯಾವ ಸೆಲ್ಸು ಈ ಒಂದು ಜೀನ್ ನ ಅಪ್ಟೇಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಫರ್ದರ್ ಅದನ್ನ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಎಂಟೈರ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ನ ರೀಜನರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ದಟ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಜೆನಿಕ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್. ಇನ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅನಿಮಲ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ, to the direct animal individual, we don't inject the gene here. Direct animal ಗೆ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ, ಇದನ್ನ ಎಂಬ್ರಿಯೋ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಥವಾ ಎಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಆ ಒಂದು ಸೆಲ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಕನ್ಫರ್ಮ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಅಗೇನ್ ವಿ ಗೋ ಫಾರ್ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಟ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ zygote to convert it into an embryo. So wherein every cell will be having the transferred gene. Each and every cell will be having transferred gene, nothing but DNA here. So let us go through the options. First option, foreign RNA in all of its cells. Now we are not introducing RNA here. It's basically introduction of DNA. That's what we call it as recombinant DNA technology. So first option is absolutely wrong. Second, both foreign RNA in all its cells and foreign DNA in some of its cells. RNA first of all introduce ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು, initially start ಮಾಡದೆ introduce ಮಾಡದೆ DNA ಇಂದ. So second option ಕೂಡ wrong ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Third option, foreign DNA in all of its cells. Exactly, the answer should be foreign DNA in all of its cells. So let us go through the fourth one also. Foreign DNA in some of its cells. No. So whatever the gene we have introduced, that will be present in all the cells, but it will be expressed in the targeted cells. That's what called targeted expression. So ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಏನಾಗಬೇಕಿಲ್ಲಿ, foreign DNA in all of its cells. So well, that's a last question of split 6. Split 6 ನ last question discuss ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾಯ್ತು. Okay, from next the schedule, you will be going for the entire syllabus, first year and second year. That's like grand test. So till now I hope like you have prepared very well, gone through all the tests sincerely, and prepare sincerely. Not, I don't say it should be very serious, it should be very sincerely. You need to prepare for your tests, attend it responsibly, and whatever the grand tests are that you analyze yourself, please attend. Don't miss any of the tests of any of the subjects, right? Okay, I wish you all the best for forthcoming grand tests. Prepare well, do it to the maximum, rectify your mistakes, interact maximally. You interact, whatever the doubts are there, don't keep it pending. Immediately you can just contact us. Interact with maximum responsibility. We are here to help you, definitely, and you should not neglecting it, and you should take this responsibility and the opportunity to achieve your the goal, to achieve your success. So take care of yourself, take care of your health also, and prepare well, and all the best. Till then, wish you all the best and have a nice time. Shall meet in the next session. Thank you. Have a nice day.